Hey everyone! Welcome to the first day of Halloweek. If you're new here, Halloweek is something that I do every year, kind of celebrating the start of my channel. My first video I posted was a wind-up key that you could make to go with a wind-up doll costume, or wind-up toy costume, I guess. And ever since then, I've been posting stuff every week. So yeah, Halloweek is just kind of a celebration of that. So for Halloweek, I do a video every single day the week before Halloween. So I will be doing stuff from Monday to Friday. And then this year, Halloween is actually on a Thursday, so I'm gonna have another little special Halloween video next week. So it's like extra. So this year I decided to do little bits and pieces of a costume that I worked on earlier. I actually wore it for Comic-Con, and I feel like you can use these kind of techniques for a bunch of other costumes. So yeah, but first I wanted to do a project that is probably going to take a little bit longer than some of these other ones, and you might want it sooner because it is a decor item. Actually, is right here. This little gargoyle guy. I made him out of floral foam, and I'm gonna show you guys how I did it, or make any kind of Halloween sculpture out of floral foam. So let's get started. You'll need floral foam, carving tools. Honestly, floral foam is so soft. I've seen people just use their hands to sculpt with this stuff. I'm mostly going to use an X-Acto knife and my hands, and then some random stuff around my desk that's within reach. A dust mask, a tarp, plaster of Paris strips, and paint. First, make sure you have a dust mask and lay out a tarp or something. This is going to make a lot of dust and you do not want to be breathing it in, and it's going to take forever to clean if you don't put something down to protect your workspace. If you can, I suggest working outside. That would help, obviously, but sometimes we just have to make do with what we got. So if you're stuck inside like me, then definitely put tarp down and wear a dust mask. You need some sort of an idea of what to sculpt. Obviously, you guys already know what I made. I did a gargoyle. I thought that was kind of Halloween-y, so that's what I went with. It's a lot easier if you sketch it out first. And make sure you do a side view, because that's primarily what you'll be working off of initially. At least for me, that's what I find easiest when I'm sculpting like this. Obviously, use whatever techniques you're used to. And basically now, just start carving. This is a subtractive sculpting technique. You're removing material, and in general, you can't add it back. So I started off really tentatively. I haven't done something like this in a while, so it was kind of intimidating. But after a while, I kind of got into the groove of it and started having more fun with it. Obviously, this is more of an intense, detailed sculpture. Some other ideas to sculpt would be maybe a skull, a black cat, a pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern, a tombstone, etc., etc. What other ideas would you guys suggest? And now, when you're done carving, you can do a couple different things. Some people just paint right away, as is, with craft paint or latex paint, or probably anything other than spray paint. Most spray paints dissolve foam, so I tend to just not use spray paint on any kind of foam unless I've sealed it already. And speaking of sealing, if I were to just start painting at this point, I would actually first seal it with a couple layers of watered down glue, like Elmer's glue or wood glue or something like that, so that when I did finally go to paint, the foam would not like just soak up a bunch of the paint and then you had to do a bunch of layers. I'm not sure if that would be really necessary, as I've never done that before with floral foam, but that would be my gut instinct. I'm going a different direction though, with plaster strips to reinforce this thing. The bad thing about just straight up painting it right now is that the foam is still soft, so there's a chance of it getting messed up. I have cats that like to knock shit down all the time, so I wanted to reinforce this thing before I painted it, just in case it fell victim to my cats and got knocked down from wherever I put it. So in comes the plaster strips. To use these, you cut them down And since my sculpture is so detailed, I cut them down kind of a lot. And then you dip them in water to activate them, using your fingers to kind of like squeegee the excess off. And then apply the strip to the sculpture and smooth out with your finger. So just keep applying the strips, building up the sculpture. Unfortunately, you lose a little bit of the detail, but I tried as hard as I could to keep as much detail as I could for mine. I used various tools to poke the plaster strips down into like the crevices and everything of the sculpture. I did end up losing a little bit of detail, but not as much as I was anticipating actually. And once that's completely covered, set it aside and let it harden. My package said that it should only take about 20 minutes, but I let it set up overnight just because I felt like it wasn't really like setting up as fast as it said it would. So here's how he looks now, and now it's time to paint. And actually before this, you could sand it if you wanted it to be more smooth. I just went straight to painting. So yeah, whichever way you want to go with it. Obviously, paint your sculpture however you'd like. For me, since I'm going for a stone gargoyle look, I'm going to make mine look like stone. So first, a base layer of gray. I actually did 2 coats of this, and then let it dry. And now, I'm going in with various browns and a lighter gray, stippling and dry brushing in order to get some sort of variation in the stony look. Let that dry again. And finally, I watered down some black paint and painted that on. I used a paper towel to dab up the excess paint, leaving the black paint mostly in the cracks, creases, crevices, etc. to give it a weathered look. Once that's dry, it's done. And here's how the little guy turned out. I'm actually really thrilled with how this turned out. I kind of wish that I ended up making 2 of them. These would look really great, like on a bookshelf or something. In our living room, we have bookshelves on either side of the TV, and I think they would look really cool on either side. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll end up making another one. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all of that good stuff. Here's today's featured project. I'm going to try to do one for every Halloweek video and try to make them like Halloween themed stuff. If you want to be featured here, then use the hashtag CheslinDIY on Instagram or Twitter and you'll have a chance of being featured here. Don't forget, tomorrow I will be posting another Halloweek video, day 2, so be sure to check that out. And yeah, I'll see you then. Thank you so much to my patrons for helping me produce this video. If you like my videos and have learned something from them, please consider supporting me on Patreon to help me continue to make them. It's totally optional. I'll still be making videos either way. It just helps me be able to put out better stuff. A link will be down below, or you can just click up here in the corner.